Napoli fans around the world, welcome to Napoli Talk. Siamo noi, i campioni dell'Italia, siamo noi. Guys, an incredible turnaround. So happy, guys. It's crazy. The ups and downs of this team. It's why we love this team. It's why we love football, guys. Because you couldn't have convinced me this morning that we would be seeing this. In fact, I woke up this morning and I just couldn't fathom the fact that we would go and get battered by Inter. I was trust me, guys. People that saw me this morning were like, "This guy, like, he's just not him today." And I was thinking about this game. I was like, We're gonna get 3 goals against us," and it was the opposite. It was the opposite, and I loved seeing the game. I really enjoyed seeing a Napoli game. The way that we played for the first time in a long time, guys, because we have won this year and even last year, many times, but it's so rare to actually see such nice passes of play. With Neres up top, when you have someone with such skill, all of a sudden you can pass him the ball and he's doing these flicks to the midfielders. Anguissa's goal, thanks to Neres basically putting him through. Then Anguissa had to do 80% of the work. But it's one of those things that happens when you have quality on the field. And finally, we had quality on the field in all the departments. And and yeah, it was just incredible. It was just incredible, guys, what this team did. And we'll get to the analysis of the game. But I want to get your thoughts, guys. There's a lot of you in the comments. There's nearly 60 of you that are joining the stream right now, but only 20 likes. Maybe I do a bad job not reminding you guys, but would appreciate you guys going a little bit out of your full screen mode, smashing that like button, and then going back to full screen. Would really like that, and subscribe if you haven't. Mike, man, thank you so much for your donation. And he says, Mamma mia, guys, what a what a crazy game. And I wanna also talk about the end of the game. I think for me this was the best part of the game, right at the end when Conte. I mean, guys, he didn't do this even last year. Conte, going with the entire team under the curva, and whatever he did these days. I mean, maximum respect for Conte because he basically, in my opinion, pulled off one of the great coaching masterclasses where he decides to put the team inside of a bubble and says it's us against the world. And I believe he did that because he canceled his press conference before the game. So he didn't want to go and answer uncomfortable questions. He didn't want to talk about individual players because for sure the journalists would have asked him about, what do you think of Luca? What do you think here and there? And there was none of that. He didn't want to give any kind of advantage to Inter. He didn't want to talk about individual performances. And yeah, it's one of the Conte masterclasses. It's one of the Conte masterclasses to be able to get a team to react after a 6-2 defeat, guys. So, congrats to Conte on on all of that. I'm just reading some of your comments, guys. Incredible to see the enthusiasm is back, and the level of enthusiasm. I want to get to all your comments today. So let me pick a few that I find nice. Felt like uh, Prime Dries Mertens up top today. Exactly, exactly. Let me go a bit earlier to some earlier comments. Still, Tomato says Neres false nine starter until Hoyland back. Unfortunately, he got injured. The metaphysician is calling for the 4-3-3. Apologies for the language for anybody. Um, but yeah, I mean, for sure the 4-3-3 seemed to work. But I think even in the first half, we did well. I think this was more of a spirit thing. I'm still not fully convinced that the 4-3-3 versus 4-1-4-1 is the issue. I think it's more a matter of spirit than anything else. But for sure, the 4-3-3, there's no problems there. Like if we stick to that, um, potentially that's the best out there. But I really think it's a matter of them putting in the work. I think Napoli to start spamming Neres heels touch every what? I don't understand this comment, but whatever. Juan Jesus was incredible today, guys. Juan Jesus is playing at a phenomenal level. Guys, I'm gonna take a quick water break, and I'll leave you guys with another image to take a look at. Look at this beautiful stadium. I'll be right back in 10 seconds, guys. All right, we're back. We're back, guys. We're back. Let's go back to the image of the I was gonna call it the São Paulo, guys, of the Maradona Stadium. For some reason, guys, whenever I see the stadium like this, I always think back to the São Paulo days. I don't know why, but maybe in recent years, it's become a lot more trendy, maybe, to go to the stadium and whatever, which is nice. I also like that more people are going there. It's not for me. I don't think that's a problem. Um, but the emotions that I felt when it was the old São Paulo in the early 2000 and 2010 era. Um, yeah, I'm always attached to that. And when I see images like this that get me really emotional, I always think back to the name of São Paulo. But another picture that I really like, guys, is this one. Isn't this just the most beautiful picture? We need someone to put this picture next to the one of Mctominay against Sassuolo, you know, the king against the guy who lost. I don't know what to call it, the loser, no? But both action shots where you have the player and the background. You guys know which one I'm talking about. But yeah, look, it's a great it's a great comeback. It's a great comeback. I don't think these Inter players expected what came at them today. And yeah, yeah. Man, it's it's just crazy. It's just crazy, what we managed to do, what we managed to do today. It's incredible. Let's see. Why are the comments here not showing? Let's see. McTominay Prime is back. There we go. We got the comments at the bottom back again. Um, Look, overall, guys, this is such an important game. Such an important game because I think this will define a season. This doesn't mean that we're gonna win the Scudetto. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that because we've got so many problems, guys, but so many, especially with the number of players that are injured, that I'm not here to say that we're gonna win the title. But to go and win against Inter, okay, after a 6-2 defeat with only 3 days of rest, without your entire dorsal spine of the team, no Meret, no Lobotka, no Rachmani, no Lukaku, no Hoyland. De Bruyne gets injured in the middle of the first half. Without all those players that are so critical for Napoli, I mean, these guys that I mentioned, they're probably, I put 5 or 6 names. They're easily, the top 7 or 8. They're within the top 7 or 8. I mean, the only other people you can put in there are Anguissa and Mctominay. And with all those injuries, we go and we beat Inter, and we hand them another defeat this season. And just as they were starting to, get, gel with each other, gel with Conte, Pio Esposito's anything anyone can ever talk about. And we just said, you know what, guys, hold up, hold up. It's not going to be so easy to take the Scudetto off of us this season. We're here to fight. With Milan also losing, well, tying actually yesterday, but I mean, they really deserve to lose. Um, it's a huge statement, guys. It's a huge statement to the rest of the Serie A that Napoli is back. Alternatively, guys, if we had lost today, it would have sent us down a spiral into a black hole where you don't come out of that. I feel we would have probably killed our season had we lost today. So this really was a make or break. I don't know what you guys think. If you guys have the same kind of thoughts on that, guys. There's so many comments. There's so many comments. I want to get to every single one, whether you're a member or not. So let me go from the top. Vero Napoli non di Conte, 3 Inter 1. That's so for everybody that doesn't speak Italian, that means this was the real non-Conte Napoli that won 3-1 against Inter. Maybe to some extent, it goes back to me saying we haven't seen this type of fluidity with Conte in a while. But I think it's just that these players decided to step up, and they they remembered who they are. Let me follow up with the comment here saying individualità Napoli 3 Inter 1. Questa gara dimostra il vero potenziale del Napoli che Conte opprime. Immagino questa forte rosa nelle mani del giusto allenatore. So to translate this, guys, he's saying this game demonstrates the real potential of Napoli that Conte is oppressing. And I can only imagine this team in the hands of a coach that can, do the right thing, or with the right coach. Yes and no. I mean, on the one hand, I kind of get it. Like, I really do. Like, we are maybe suffering by the fact that Conte does not play fluid champagne football. But at the same time, you want a Scudetto, so what can you say? I mean, I will never criticize Conte to the extent that I want him kicked out on his second season. I mean, no, I gave him a really bad score on Tuesday against PSV, and I said that that was not the right level. But to ask for a change of coach, I think it's too much, because he's well, he has the results that speak for him. Um, so yeah. Um, how about that McTominay goal? Man, that McTominay goal was incredible. Mean says, I agree with Tomato. Neres as a false nine should be our plan until Hoyland returns. Yeah, he stays fit. It's sad to say, but without De Bruyne on the pitch, we played a lot better because we got back to 4-3-3. I don't think De Bruyne is the problem. The formation is, says Vinicius. Yeah, I mean, it's true, it's true that we played better in the second half, but the first half, I honestly, I still think that we were the better team, even though Inter had a few chances from corner kicks, guys, so, or crosses into the box, so it's not like they were outplaying us. And then in the second half, I think with Inter trying to take the uh, trying to, I guess, recover the scoreline. Obviously, um, we had a bit more space to attack them, but for sure, the goal that Mctominay scored, for example, where he's going through the middle of the field, maybe that wouldn't have been possible had he been on the left. And I think that's more the problem that I have is that with the 4-1-4-1, McTominay is all the way on the left. That's the problem, not the formation itself. It's that I think on the left you should have a different player. And fine, you want to play a 4-1-4-1, fine, I don't care. But you can't do it with McTominay all the way out there. You have to put McTominay in the center, and he's got to go behind the striker. But yeah, which sometimes, by the way, he does even at a 4-1-4-1. So again, let's not focus too much on these things. Let's not focus too much. Crazy game in a good way. Finally, we see the real Napoli. Looks like KDB will be out for more than 4 months, man. I hope not. I mean, that would really suck. Dom, I believe this was a statement to us fans, by the way, that Conte wants to repeat the Scudetto. The Champions League isn't our priority, sadly. I mean, look, if we repeat the Scudetto, that would be something incredible to repeat this. Not even Maradona was able to do it, and in the Serie A, no one's been able to do it in recent years. It's been super contested. This title, it's maybe the most interesting one in Europe. Scott McBastan. Did you mean to say like Bastian, like Bastian Schweinsteiger or something? But yeah, cosa ha fatto? Cosa ha fatto? What did he do? What did he do? He pulled out the rabbit out of the hat, guys. Um, Dom, please translate Lautaro and Conte trash talk. Look, all you need to know about that is that basically this when Lautaro did this, okay, in Italian, when someone does this to you, not this, right? Not this, but this, it usually means like, oh, you're scared. It means you're gonna go to the toilet, um, because you're scared. That's usually what it means, right? So yeah, here I explained it. I explained it. So this one is like, again, ti metti sotto or hai paura, something like this. Ti fai sotto, scusa. Ti fai sotto, hai paura, these kind of things. Which means, you're gonna poop yourself. It's so weird not to be able to swear on camera. I have to use words like poop. No one uses, but I don't want to be canceled. Um, but but yeah, which is a really weird thing to say, because at that time they were losing 2-1. So, you can't be the big guy and you're losing. So probably, Lautaro was saying something like, let's meet outside in the parking lot. I'll show you. And then Conte was obviously like, and what are you talking about? And Lautaro must have been like, oh, are you scared? Are you scared? Probably that's the kind of dynamic that was going on. Um, but impossible to tell without being there. I don't even know how that even started because it seemed like it was Dumfries that was closest to Conte, and then Lautaro starts rushing in. I don't know what happened there. It was a bit weird. It was a bit weird. Um, this is a very interesting point. This is a very interesting point from Olids saying, what does this mean for Luca though, not starting when our number one and two strikers are out? Guys, I will add to that. Not only did he not start, but he didn't even feature. Guys, we brought on three defenders ahead of Luca. I mean, we had Oliveira, Beukema, and Oliveira, Beukema, and no, that was it, right? We brought on two defenders. We brought on Noah Lang instead of Luca when Neres left. So clearly, guys, this is a big signal from Antonio Conte. On the other hand, I think that if there was one game to do this in, it was this one, because Acerbi would have eaten Luca up. I mean, even Haaland struggled against Acerbi back in the day in the Champions League. So what you need to do against this Inter side is you need to play with very dynamic number nines. I mean, it's one of the reasons why Inter got battered against PSG last year is that they had Dembele up top, and he's not the classic number nine. He will go into pockets of space. He will drag you out of where you want to be. And instead, Acerbi loves the big striker that doesn't move, that's a bit slow. You know, that's the type of thing that he loves. He will win the physical duel. What he hates is the small guy running around him, and it makes him such an average defender when you take him out of his comfort zone. So on the one hand, I think it's a huge signal that Luca didn't play, but um, I do think that maybe this is more something to do with the fact that Acerbi was playing for Inter. Maybe if it was a regular kind of defense, maybe Luca would have at least featured off the bench. But yeah. Um, let's see. Um, Luca looked absolutely horrible against Torino and PSV. Yeah, of course. Conte uno sfacimmo. Oh my God, guys, we are getting out of hand here. I'm not gonna translate this. I'm not gonna translate this, man. But yeah. Space is our best number nine. Yeah, Neres looks like he's in space, no? So I guess that relates. That relates to that. Adam Miller says, leading to the penalty, we're probably the best 5-10 minutes of the season. Then we played even better in the second half. My point is, let's not get too down on De Bruyne. They came to play today. That's exactly what I mean. You know, it's that I really enjoyed the I really enjoyed the first half, even even more the second half, but also the first half was refreshing to see. We were dominating Inter. We had them pinned into their half. Then yeah, they had a few chances from corners and crosses, but it's Inter. You're gonna concede a little bit. Um, so I think it just proves that the 4-1-4-1. It's not the poison chalice that we're all trying to make it seem. It's not that. I agree. The 4-3-3, we look better. I prefer it. It's more offensive. Yes. Fine. But the 4-1-4-1 is not that bad. You know, it's not that bad. Um, Napolemica, thank you. No, yeah, is that? Yeah, that's Napolemica. Thank you, man, for the €1 donation. Really appreciate it. Um, thoughts on the drama of Lautaro. That's why I hate Argentina, man. Um, let's just say that they like to uh, have these very heated moments. Okay, they're very passionate people. But let's not generalize to an entire country. Because guys, we are the Napoli fans, around the world, and there's people from all over. So, and especially because Napoli and Argentina have this connection. So I think maybe the stream got cut for 2 seconds. At least on my end, I got a big thing where the stream got cut. If it's still working, guys, let me know, and let me know if you also experience that. Uh, anyways, let's move on to some more comments. Do you think De Bruyne is the problem? Asked Tariq. No, no, I don't think so. I don't think so. But look, let's see how the next few weeks evolve. I mean, this is a good way to test it out, even though probably after this win, there will be this extra sense of confidence and enthusiasm and all that. So if we start doing well after today, it might not be because De Bruyne is not playing. It could just be that now the atmosphere has been lifted. Because let's face it, guys, that since the start of this season, we haven't been able to kind of get the ball rolling from a excitement point of view. So yeah. Um, there we go. Vamos Argentina. Vamos Argentina. Also, Gilmore put in a shift, says Stefan Boffa. So, mm, oof, I'm gonna have to disagree with. Well, okay. Did he put in a shift? Yes, he did very well. Um, did he play well? Let me be completely honest. I think he's a very, very lucky guy to still be playing. Because I thought his tackle in the first half, where he didn't get booked, but everybody thought that he was booked, I thought that deserved the yellow. Um, Potentially even studs up. So then he pulled, the shirt. He got the yellow. You can argue that he wouldn't have done that if he was on a yellow. Fine. But yeah, I don't know. I think that this team with Lobotka is just at another level. That's not to say that Gilmore didn't put in a shift. I just don't see it that, I just don't really see Gilmore as having as much quality as Lobotka. But, Lobotka, in my opinion, he's up there with the best midfielders in the world. He's just so underrated. But yeah, 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 yeah. Let's see. What will happen now with all these injuries? Well, we will have very, very busy physiotherapists and doctors. So if any of you guys are studying that, now's your chance to apply. I'm sure Napoli has some open positions there. Probably they will accept any help that they can get. So, um, you know, this could be your big opportunity. Um, what happens now, guys? What happens now is we're gonna have to start giving Mazzocchi, Vergara, Ambrosino a bit of a chance. I mean, there's no other alternative. No other alternative. I mean, if let's look at who we have next, but we play in a few days. We play against Lecce. I think it is the next game. Yeah, we play Lecce Napoli on Tuesday at 8:30, which by the way, um, I'm not sure I'll be able to do a live because I'll be for work in Slovenia. So and 6:30 kickoff. I mean, guys, I don't finish work until like 10 p.m. So there's no chance I'm gonna be able to go live. Then we play against Como on Saturday. Again, another 6 p.m. kickoff. What's up with all these 6 p.m. kickoffs? then Frankfurt, then Bologna. Like it's non-stop. It's absolutely non-stop. So yeah. De Bruyne and McTominay play better without each other. Hmm. Yeah, I mean, maybe I just hate to admit it. I guess you guys know that I've not been so harsh on this whole partnership on the 4-1-4-1 because maybe deep down I want this to work so badly. I want us to have a team where De Bruyne and McTominay can work together and be at their best. Um, but but yeah, it's just so difficult to maybe admit the reality. But yeah, Vinicius says Juan Jesus was phenomenal today. Big up to Juan Jesus. What a guy. I mean, just imagine being an Inter fan. You've seen Juan Jesus play for you like 10 years ago when he was supposedly at his physical prime, mid 20s. Um, you basically, categorized him as a bit of as trash essentially. And now he's playing for Napoli, won two Scudettis, won against you by a point, plays starter at the end of 2025 against you, puts Lautaro Martinez in his pocket. I mean, it's incredible. It's incredible, and um, we need to start actually realizing that this is his level with Conte. I think we have been so scarred by the Garcia, Mazzarri, Calzona version of Juan Jesus that um, we maybe we don't realize that he's been doing this now for so long, for 18 months. He's been playing at a really high level, Juan Jesus with Conte, which also kind of makes you think maybe it's what Garcia was seeing all along. Could that be? Could that be that this was that Juan Jesus was playing like this in training and then just pulling up on a Sunday and being completely useless? But I'm sure, I'm sure Napoli saw something like I'm sure they saw something with him um, that they were like, yeah, yeah, you know what, Kim, we don't need to replace Kim. We've got Juan Jesus. Like there had to be something there, at least in the training sessions, because otherwise I don't explain it. And it would explain why now he's playing well, because I mean, he's clearly got the level and the quality, and most of all the leadership, which is something that this team really needs at times. Um, Omari Lewis said, I had to work during the game, but I'm so happy for the results. Hearing Un giorno all'improvviso sung in the stands brought a tear to my eye. Yeah, what an emotional moment in the game, guys. Yeah, a lot of injuries, a lot of injuries. Strange take, Gilmore had a solid game. I don't know, like yeah, I don't know. Maybe I put this out to the people. I let the people decide, okay? Um, so let's give a rating out of 10 to Gilmore, okay? Gilmore 1 to 10, okay? And I'll put I'll go between a 6. No, how should I do it? How should I should give you guys multiple options, yeah? Okay. So let's do this. Uh yeah. How do I How do I start a poll and add? Here, add more. Okay, I forgot. I haven't done a poll in such a long time, guys. So I'm gonna go with 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10, 6 out of 10, or well, I'll go 6.5 or 6. I'll give you guys these four options. I can only put four. Okay. So yeah, I'll give you guys these, and then you'll see what I put. But I'm interested because I put a number there, and I want to know if I'm completely washed. But then I'll check my analytics and see how many of you guys are connecting from Scotland. And if I see that there's more than X% of people connecting from Scotland, then I know that these results are a bit biased. But yeah. Um, but yeah, I think we can all agree that Lobotka is better. Marie 17B says, "Hey Dom, how old are you? By the way, you've lived in so many countries. Either you've been traveling in childhood or you have Dorian Grayish picture yourself in the dark corner of your room setup." Yeah, I traveled a lot in when I was a child. So because of my dad's work, every like 3 or 4 years, we had to go to a different country. But how old am I? Nearing 30, guys. Nearing 30. So yeah, not quite there. I'm still 28. I'm still 28. About to turn 29 in a few months, but for sure it's coming, the big 30, you know? Um it's there. It's looming in the distance. But yeah, let's not worry about these things now. What are the statements from Marotta and the corresponding response from Conte? I don't know. Let's see. Let's see what Marotta says. I'd love to see what Marotta says. By the way, I don't mean this in like a rude way at all. I don't want to be insensitive, but today I took part in some volunteering. I didn't plan to take part in volunteering. I just happened to be there and joined in. But one of the things that we did was we had to like play sports with like our eyes completely covered, and we were like helping disabled people and all that. And I don't know, is that like what Marotta has? Like his eyes like pointing that like a different direction? Like I don't know, but it was tough. So my respect for Marotta increased, if that's what he's going through. I don't know if that's what it. I don't want to, assign a disability to anyone if they don't have it, but for sure he's got one. No, like I mean, anyways, whatever. Again, I don't want to be canceled, so move on, move on. Okay, so let's see. Marotta to Dazon says, my presence is something that my presence is a contribution that I want to give to the system. Um, Aside from the fact that Napoli deserved the win, the referee did not blow his whistle for the penalty, and he was the best person to see the action. So this dynamic needed VAR intervention. So, because what happened was that the referee didn't blow the whistle, but the linesman raised his flag highlighting a foul. And that's when the referee said, okay, I trust my linesman, I'll blow the whistle. Which is not something that nowadays we see a lot, because nowadays, the referee will either blow or not blow a foul, and then if they get it wrong or it's borderline, the VAR will call him. And the linesmen nowadays, they barely do anything. I mean, like not even offsides. They don't really have the authority to pull a flag unless it's super obvious, because we have to wait until everything gets done just in case they didn't have the right view. So nowadays it's very difficult for a linesman to have any kind of impact on the game, let alone decide a penalty, let alone for the referee to do so 8 seconds after the contact. So yeah, all I can say is it's a clear penalty. It's it's a super clear penalty, guys. I mean, we can go to it right now. I mean, I have the screenshots. I've got the proof. We'll come back to all these slides later, but I mean, the knee in the back of Di Lorenzo's leg is super obvious. It's a way, way, way more obvious penalty than the one that they got last year. with Anguissa and Dumfries. So I mean, this is um, completely ridiculous that we're even talking about this. I mean, he's the biggest crybaby ever. But it's interesting, maybe one eye was watching somewhere else. I don't know with Marotta, but yeah. So he's saying, we will ask for clarity. I'm all for the referee being at the center. But if his assistant is the one making the decisions, the referee cannot be, um, influenced so much. And that's what um, Marotta says, and Conte attacks Marotta, and he says um, the difference between Napoli and Inter is that uh, Inter immediately sends Marotta to speak. Instead, for Napoli, it's me who comes and speaks. So this is actually Conte saying to Napoli, to the club, hey, when things get a little political and a little dicey, I need support. I need Giovanni Manna to come in and face the cameras and put that kind of political pressure. Because guess what? Then it's Conte that has to defend Napoli, and then everybody will start saying, "Oh, Conte's a crybaby" or whatever. No, and Conte maybe doesn't want that. He wants someone else to take this kind of role. But anyways, he says, um, according to me, a big team needs to do the correct assessment and understand why today they lost, and not hold on to these sort of alibis. I think that this type of approach is completely toxic. I, as a coach, would have never allowed the club to go and say this thing. So yeah, actually, so forget what I said 5 seconds ago. It's not Conte saying, "Oh, look at Inter doing this, whereas we don't do it." Actually, Conte saying, "We don't want to do this." So apologies, my bad. I'm a horrible translator. I jumped the gun. Um, but he's saying that this is not something that clubs should do, to send their people to go and speak to the cameras. So yeah, that's Conte on the whole thing. And regarding the game, guys, Conte says we went up against a very strong team, potentially the best team for me in Italy. They did the Champions League twice in 3 years. So having won with all the difficulties that we have since the start of the year, um, even today, we had Hoyland, Lobotka, and Rahmani out, Meret out, then De Bruyne out, Lukaku obviously out since the start of the year. Let's just say it's not been an easy or lucky year. But we gotta um, fight every battle. Today Inter came out swinging, and yeah, clearly these are the type of games where um, you have to die for the team. So yeah, that's what we did. It was a really good result. And then they ask him about the thing with Lautaro, and he says that when you play these type of games, these kind of things can happen. What I want to remind people is that in the 2 years that I was at Inter, in which I brought back the Scudetto after 10 years, this experience, obviously, I have great memories of, and Lautaro was an excellent player. But maybe from a human point of view, I didn't have the chance to meet or understand him very well, but I gave him, I wish him the best. I mean, that's crazy that Antonio Conte was 2 years at at Inter, and he's saying that he didn't have the chance, to really, from a human point of view, get to know Lautaro that well. I mean, I'm pretty sure that that Lautaro was in that team when Conte was there, right? So yeah, um, yeah, and that's Conte. I mean, it's a great result, and I think credit to Conte, credit to Conte. I want to hear what the players actually also have to say, right? So Anguissa that zone says, I don't know if this win is a signal that we're sending out, but the objective is always to win. We did it against a strong team, and we had the right attitude. It's not the system, the 4-1-4-1 or 4-3-3 that makes the difference, but our attitude. We saw a team today that really wanted to win, and we're ready to do what it takes. Scott McTominay as well had something to say to that zone. Says we had a great reaction after the defeat in the Champions League against a very good team. It was a great night. Spinazzola is an excellent player, but not only him. Now we just need to give continuity to everyone. Okay, so guys, so that's that. What are my thoughts on Noah Lang? What are my thoughts on Noah Lang, guys? I think he's um, he's gonna find minutes now that Neres is injured. I think Neres, it's unlikely to see him play on Tuesday, so I expect against Lecce of all teams. I mean, with all due respect to Lecce, Noah Lang has to start. We have to rotate some players because we just need to, two very tough games this week, so we got to do what we can against Lecce. And for Lecce, it's not going to be easy playing a midweek game because they're not really used to it either. So, um, yeah, I think we got to take advantage on that. So I think he'll play. And then generally, what are my takes is that he's still not quite ready, and I think that the biggest indicator for me is that I don't see his teammates passing him the ball as much as they potentially could. And these players are not stupid. They know that if they pass it to this person, something can happen. If they pass it to the other person, he might lose the ball. If he passes it to whoever else, they might, um, keep it and it's all fine. So, what I'm seeing, and I saw actually since the retreat, um, and I have proof because I have some WhatsApp messages that I can show, is that it seems to me like the players are not passing him the ball. But for me, that's a signal that shows that in training, maybe he's not impressing that much. Um, but let's see. I think maybe against Lecce, a weaker team, he can do a bit more, a bit more. Lang clearly wants to leave because he said he has to endure it since he signed the contract. I think he's got to fight a bit more, and I think he's got to understand that he's at a decent level mm, for certain teams. Um, a mid-table team or PSV, which I mean it's crazy to say they beat us 6-1, but um, in the Eredivisie you don't really focus that much on defending, whereas in Serie A you do, and he's got to take this as an opportunity to learn, and if that means one difficult year, then so be it. I think though he's kind of worried that he's missing out on the national team. And if that's something that he really thinks is an objective that he can reach, um, if he plays more often, then he's got to think about going on loan in the winter and getting those minutes. But at the same time, it won't be a good look for him if he proves that he can't make it in a team like Napoli. Even though now saying that feels super weird because we got battered by his former team. But anyways, guys, let's go back to the game, because I think there was some interesting things that I wanted to highlight apart from Dumfries looking like this, which is my favorite moment of the day. But look, when we were playing with the 4-1-4-1, this is the fourth minute of the game. You could already see the kind of approach that Napoli was taking. No, that when we were in the final third, and here Di Lorenzo's passing to Politano, who can potentially cross the ball. We already have Anguissa and Mctominay positioned to attack the box, right? So this is exactly where you want to see Mctominay. This is where he makes a difference. So again, 4-1-4-1 or 4-3-3 doesn't really matter. He's gonna attack the box either way. And here it's a moment instead in the second half where it's interesting to see Neres' position, like super far away from the center backs of Inter. And again, it's one of those things that he loves to be in these pockets of space as a number 10, whereas if you had a more traditional number 9, he'd be up and close to, for example, Acerbi, and Acerbi would eat him alive. So the fact that we played Neres didn't allow Acerbi to be at his best, and and I think that was the key to the game, more than the 4-1-4-1 or 4-3-3, because even when we were at 4-1-4-1, you could see Neres at the top of the screen. He was completely on his own in a number 10 position. He wasn't really engaging with the center backs, and that sort of position and distance with the defenders is something that he kept throughout the game, regardless of formation. Let's not forget that Inter could have scored a few goals in the first half, but it was more because of our, let's say, distractions than anything else. And here, this was an example, and Milinkovic had to save the day. And then we get to the penalty, guys, and the penalty, like we talked about it, but what I want to highlight is this little flick from Anguissa. What a player! When this guy decides to play, he's such a dominant midfielder. Um, Physically, he's smart. He's got the motivation. He's got the technique as well. Like with this little flick, it's really nice to see. And then again, here clearly a penalty, no question in my mind. De Bruyne scores, and then this happens, and you know we keep talking about this 4-1-4-1 being a problem, right? Um, and maybe the players are not performing because De Bruyne is on the field and it was better last year when he wasn't there and all this kind of stuff. But honestly, it's not the impression I'm getting on the field. Like on the field, I'm getting the impression that the players have really bonded with De Bruyne. That that they're following they're really trying to make that formation work. So yeah, again, I don't think that that's the main problem. And again, Inter could have scored a few times, but look, it wasn't something like that they created these really nice pieces of play. It wasn't like that. And then in the second half, guys, we hit them on the counter. Spinazzola, great ball to McTominay with Neres um, pulling Acerbi out. Again, you see the gap that he's able to pull from Acerbi. McTominay reads it very well. Spinazzola as well. And then what a strike by McTominay. I mean, it's incredible. It's incredible what he's able to do, the level that he's at right now, and this whole thing with Lautaro. It's incredible that this guy won Serie A's Fair Play Award, actually. So the Serie A awards a Fair Play Award. Um, Somehow Lautaro won. I mean, this guy is one of the scummiest players I've ever had the displeasure of seeing. Great footballer. Don't get me wrong. I'd love for a striker like that to be in my team. But he's right up there with the Chiellini and Luis Suarez's of this world in terms of just scummy players on the football field. Doing their dark magic, um, diving, uh, being like this. It's players that you don't want to have to play against, but you would love it if they were in your own team, right? Look, I mean, if we had a player like Chiellini, for example, in our team, I would love it. I hate playing against them though. I hate playing against them. But yeah, he's the type of player that he is. But shortly after we scored, and again, look, this ball from Politano to Neres, and Neres, he's able to flick it on to Anguissa because the defenders are not getting close to him because they know that if they get close, this guy can spin them because he's got such a low center of gravity and all that. So yeah, look, he then flicks it to Anguissa, and Anguissa does super well to take on ball to the feet a few players. How many times have we seen this with Anguissa? It's not the first time. He did it a few seasons back with Torino. He did it last year with Fiorentina. Like he did it against Bologna last year as well. He loves taking the ball from the midfield and just going. But then I did not expect him to score this with his left foot. I mean, that is insane from Anguissa. Left-footed, guys. Left-footed. Yeah, I'll let you guys read this comment. I'm interested to see what he has to say. Very interested to see. Um, yeah, yeah. Um, so yeah, so that's that, guys. That's that. That's the game. The player ratings maybe is something that now we should get to. And let me close the poll with Gilmore. Um, Gilmore, he got, according to you guys, okay, he should get a 7. Some of you even 8. I put a 6. So because I am a just and fair moderator, I would call myself. Yeah, I would call myself a moderator of the Napoli Talk community. I will go and change this. Um, so let me pull off a bit of magic, and let me change this to a 7, which is what you guys are all asking for. So fine, democracy wins for now until I change my mind. It could very well be a dictatorship whenever I want. So, but I'm feeling generous today. I'm feeling very generous. We will change this to a 7. I'm doing it now on Photoshop as we speak. So just give me a second. 3, 2, 1. Boom. 7. See how smooth that is? Yeah. This is this is nice. You enjoyed that, didn't you? Didn't you? Yeah, this is next level editing, guys. I'm streaming, I'm editing, I'm translating. What skills did I not show you today? What skills did I not show you? Helcom says Vanja only a 6. No, it's a 6.5. 6.5. And he did we went through that save on Lautaro. We went through it in the first half. But hear me out. Hear me out, guys. That save was right on him. So, yeah. So um, for me, it's a 6.5. I just think that save is something that he should have pulled off. I mean, I'm thankful that he pulled it off. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, Conte a perfect man. A 10, bro. A 10, a 10. Do you know? Do you know what you have to do to get a 10 on Napoli Talk player ratings? Bro, you have to like win the game, save a baby. Um, you know, Conte comes onto the field and scores a goal. You know, like that's the kind of thing that he would need to do to play. Like he would need to become a player and score a goal for him to get a 10. I don't believe in tens, guys. I really don't because should always it should always be there as a target, but never quite achievable. Never quite achievable because it's supposed to keep making you want more. You know, it's that little carrot that I dangle. And maybe only a few times I've put in a 10. So yeah. Conte bicycle kick next week. Guys, do you know Stojkovic? He was a Serbian player for Marseille, who won the '93 Champions League with Marseille. And then actually he was the coach of Serbia um, a few years ago. Maybe he still is. But anyways, a few years back, maybe like 10 years ago, he was coaching in Japan and he actually scored a goal off the bench. Like the ball came to him, and this guy's crazy. Eh? This guy volleyed it to the look. I'll look it up, okay, and I'll show you guys. Stojkovic volley. Uh, Dragan Stojkovic volley. Uh, Guys, it's crazy. It's crazy. Like yeah, I can't show you a video, okay? Because it's gonna get copyrighted. But what can I do? How can I show you guys this? Let's see. I'm gonna have to yeah, I'll show you guys. So okay, excuse the graphics, okay? Let's not focus on that. Let me reposition this, right? But the guy literally, okay, oh no, don't show video. I'm gonna get banned. Anyways, man, the guy scored from here, okay? The guy scored from here. The coach, the ball came in, all right? It came in. The guy stood up, volleyed it, and sent it all the way back to goal, okay? That is a 10, guys. That is a 10 out of 10 performance, okay? That is a 10 out of 10 performance from a coach. The guy needs to score a volley from his own technical area, okay? Um, and yeah, I did give a 10 before, but I was in a state of euphoria. Uh, Now we are more mature and experienced, and also, you know what? He put himself in this situation. Let me also put that as a context. You know, like he did very well to recover from a 6-2 defeat, but it's the same guy who made us lose 6-2 in the first place, and he didn't need to do this recovery if he just done his job a few days ago. You know, it's like imagine I throw a baby in the water and then I rescue him. I mean, can you really like should I really get all the credits for rescuing the baby? You know, if I threw him in the water to start with, you know? Like we gotta take everything into consideration here, guys. We gotta make sure that we don't forget what happened 3 days ago. So eight is more than enough. Eight is more than enough. So if somehow we lose next week and Conte scores a worldie a 10 rating, I promise you guys that it will be a 10 rating if Conte ever scores from the bench. I promise you. Whatever happened to coaches that were also players? When's the last time that that's happened in a good league? Maybe wasn't like Ryan Giggs with Man United a coach player at some point after Ferguson left? Why do I have that thought, that memory? Um, Otherwise, Kevin Keegan in '96 or something like that with Liverpool. I don't know, but must have been ages since something like that. But it'd be interesting to see one day something like that happen in the Serie A. And imagine that happens, guys. Imagine that happens against you. Like you're winning a game, like Napoli's winning a game. They they play against like Lecce or whatever. You're winning comfortably, and then these guys, like you're playing against basically like a bunch of farmers, um, or like Serie B players, and then all of a sudden, like prime Zinedine Zidane comes off the bench and like, just scores a worldie against you. I mean, that would be. What do you even say to that? Like, how do you even? Yeah, that would be funny. Rooney at Derby, I totally missed that. I didn't know that he was doing this. No wonder he got the sack. The guy was not in any physical shape or form to be pulling those kind of stunts. But yeah, yeah. Anyways, guys. Anyways, so let's recap. Let's recap and talk about us. Let's talk about us. And I like this comment from Brandon saying we are back, baby, because that's how I want to end this live. An hour in, this is how I want to end it. We are so back, so back. We are not going down without a fight. I don't know if we're gonna win this title, but we're gonna make whoever is gonna win sweat. Maybe even us. We're gonna make ourselves sweat a lot, and and that's how it should be. That's how it should be, guys. And we got under Inter skin. We rattled them. That's what I'm most maybe proud of that we didn't touch upon today. But you know, Lautaro behaving like this, Bastoni getting that yellow card on Politano, Di Marco going like this to Juan Jesus, Dumfries looking, completely lost in space. These are these are very, very, very experienced players with a lot of ego, a lot of attitude, and we got under their skin. And that's, I think, something that is super nice. And I want to leave it with that, guys. Obviously, it's been a pleasure once again to do these to do this live with you after a game finally that we win. Let's see if I can do something short for the game against Lecce. Otherwise, guys, it's been a pleasure, and and yeah, as always, Forza Napoli sempre. Ciao.